Alright, back to Quicksort, part 4. Wow. Okay. Waiting for Walmart to open. It is 4:10, and we are going here. So, where I left off is we're in some kind of loop. I suspect it has something to do with the double numbers. The pivot's 48, and we have another 48 in here. See, this is before the sort. It prints out one time before the sort. So then it goes into the partitioning and it locks up. Because it doesn't always do that, but I think it does it when there's doubles here. If the partition, I think when the pivot is duplicated, it might do that. I guess I could just throw regular numbers in there instead of randomizing it. I should switch to randomize once I think the algorithm is good. That's probably what I should do. Okay, but let me take a look because it's going to be not that partition. It should be in the partition, I think. Let me see. Oh man. Ugh. All right, where's my home keys? I can't fill the little. Oh, there it is. Oh, come on, really? Index. Call quicksort starting at 0 to length -1. Length, okay. So we just call partition left, right. Let's go ahead and do the, because the left side is still going to need the right side to properly do that. I thought I did that last time. I'm wondering if this is partition position instead of +1. Let me see where that's set at. Oh. So we start off at -1. So it looks like it's going to, because when it starts right, should be the actual index. It shouldn't be any kind of like index +1 or anything like that. So I'm thinking that's the actual position and not like 1 over or something like that. But they both equal right. I remember going over that logic. I think it's correct. It's always right because they either meet or the left is greater than. Here they meet, so it doesn't matter if they're at the same one. Well, okay, wait. The partition position, that's where it's going to be inserted. So it actually has to be below. Since the partition position or pivot is on index 0, this has to be, well, place pivot in position. Oh, okay, left. Here it is. Right there. We don't need that anymore. So it's on the left. If the left is greater than right, then it's on it. Because we do want the lowest one there, since we swap. And then the position should be right on that. And then we'll do a +1. Okay, so I think that might be right. Let's go to I don't have a build script, so CL, do a shift tab. Where's my enter key? Remember in the old days, you had a super big enter key. Back then it was called return, though. Somehow it switched to enter. Okay, so that's it. 71 is going to be the pivot. It's waiting for us to hit a button or key. So let's see, 31, 69, 59. All but two numbers, the 96 and 98, are going to be on the left of 71. I don't see any duplicates, for the pivot. So let's see if it actually does anything. So it did the pivot here. It partitioned correctly, but it's not sorted. So, not that. So once it does it here, partition left here. Then it takes left. I don't think that should be left. Shouldn't that be 0? No, because the left side could be actually on the right partition. So once we're here, we send 0 in first. And there's like 10 numbers, so it goes here. It sends 0 and 9. Or no, actually it sends 0 and 10 to partition. Notice the length ain't even being used, is it? Nope. So 0 and 10, right? Oh, 0 and 9 to partition. Well, this is only calling. Oh, wait. Quicksort. Oh, ow. 0, 9. So it sends 0 and 9 to partition. see, so pivot is 0. Left is less than right. Okay, so we do throw everything on those sides. I wonder if this is too dim. Brighten it up a little bit. So we swap and move. Okay, so once we do the pivot, or we do the partition, then we place the pivot. I wonder if we should place pivot. Well, no, we'd have to track it after that. So basically what I've got here is I'm partitioning certain range inside the array. And then after they're partitioned, then I'm doing a swap on the pivot. And then it comes back. So at this point, it would still be 0 right here because all it did was copy it. And then partition position -1. Okay. So I'm starting to think this is a bad idea, that structure. Because that's actually going to be changed throughout. So by the time it gets to the right side, who knows what that is. It's not going to be that. That's for sure. So we need to be going off right. -9 there, so the partition position -1. So this could be correct. But it's not going to be this. This is going to be way off kilter at that point. So, oh, well, oh. Oh, that's bubble sort. I need quick sort. The heck? It's recent. Guess I don't have it. File. Okay, where am I at here? I need quick sort. I mean, in my mind, this is simple. Get everything on either side of the pivot, and then run quicksort on those parts, left and right. And then just keep doing that until you have no more to sort. If I'm not using thumb's length, I don't really need that. I don't even know why it's there. That was from the other one. Oh shoot. But one thing is that return structure is there for returning data. So this is definitely going to be wrong. I need it from the original. Left, right, and now I sort the left. We've got the pivot, but the only way to get the pivot is here. I think, what if I just return the index of the pivot? Well, you'd still run into the same thing, though. Because if I had the pivot from here, let me see this. Where's it at? So if I had, say, pivot equals partition there, and then I said pivot -1, What if I went into... Oh, come on, Visual Studio. If it just did that, now I run into the same problem here. Well, no, I don't, because this is going to be copied, so we're not changing that. So pivot -1, and then the start would be pivot +1. Like that. I think that's why I needed num's length at some point. Just do this. Take that out. And num's here. It should just be nums. Because I was passing nums in there. Okay, let's just take that out. Well, we can still do that. Let's do that. Where's my backspace? Let's just do that. Give me a global. I want a global. Come on, man, I wish I had a back. Anybody have a backlit keyboard, old laptop they want to send me? I need one. Maybe I need a headlamp. That way it points down. Okay, what do we need? Integer. Let's just do this. Nums. 10's good. There. Oh, come on. Why am I doing this in Visual Studio? Much prefer Sublime Text. Oh, come on, really? See, it needs logic in there that detects when, one is more a possibility than the others. To me, this needs to be fixed. Get somebody on that. Let's do this. 10, blah, blah. can change all this crap out. Ow, shoot. Rotation position. And then partition position. Turning pivot position. So else, else, else. We're all in the else's, right? Nothing else to do. We can just do a return. Right. Do we even need that? Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so we don't need this anymore. We just do a return right here. Well, no, we can't because that's an else if. So what happens if it's not? So if pivot is greater than nums left, else if pivot is less than nums. That's wrong. Oh, there it is. Oh, well, there it is, right there. Remember I said the pivot, when the pivot was duplicated in the code, there's going to be an equal there. So pivot is greater, pivot is less, and then it falls down here. So at that point, what do we do when the pivot is? That's that point where it just keeps looping. So here we need the else. What are we doing? So what do we do when it's equal? So the left equals right, and it just happens to be the pivot. So we can either go one up or, well, we'd have to go down. So we'd actually exchange it with pivot minus 1. 0. Well, we already did that. Nums left minus 1 here. This less, otherwise it's going to be equal. so they're equal here. If it's greater than, so here left and right are equal. So it just swaps out what they're on, which would be 48. So we don't want that. Pivot is less than. And it would do -1. Okay. So if it's equal, it should probably do -1 too. Let's do that. Delete that. Okay, so I'm thinking that will fix that bug. But I'm not going to sit here and keep, testing it until we just happen to fall on that situation. Let's go down and hard code. Well, wait a minute. We got to finish, or I have to finish. You don't have nothing to do with this monstrosity because you're smarter than me. And if you are an active leak coder, then for sure you know how to do it. All right, that. Do we have all that structure out of here? No, of course not. But I don't think that fixes any, the other parts of it. Because it definitely doesn't keep going. So we do not need that. Why is that there? Oh, that's right. Did that. Sign of the blah blah. We do not need that because we did it as a global. I think I'm just going to do this here. Let's go ahead and test this. There. So I equals. I guess we could just do I. No. Let's take this out. Let's do 11. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. One more. Ooh. 17. So our partition would be 11, so we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them on the left side. And we do not need this either. Whoa, don't know what happened there. Alright, where's it at? Oh, 14 back up here. This here. I already knew that. I don't know why I did that. To me, it really just doesn't make sense. I guess I could have put a const on it, huh? Let's do that. Oh, where's my keys? Oh, shoot. Void to integer. Oh, where's that at? 99. Quicksort. What am I doing with quicksort here? Returning. Oh. Okay, there shouldn't be a problem with this. I'm just saying return, not returning anything. So am I saying something equals it? Where's that at? I don't need that anymore. Length -1. We don't have a num's length anymore. Oh yeah, we do. There. Ooh. Partition. Okay, we do need to return a partition though, I think. So we should do left, right. Where was it that we were doing that? Return right. But we're returning it to right here. So I guess we're going to have to, because we need it back. Oh, there it is right there. There, so return on that. and then it should return in here. But not all code paths do it, so blah blah. So it should always go, but I don't know what it would be. I don't think this can actually happen though. It not be one of those. So I don't know. Let's just do return 1, or I guess just 0. One of those stupid comments about should never get here. It's totally bad. Okay. All right. I gotta start the trip. Oh, Twiggers, are you sleeping? Are you sleeping, Bubba's? You're warm. You gonna warm me up? You gonna warm me up? Booger bears. I know. All right. Let's go here. Oh man. Let's run that. Oh, Quicksort. What am I doing? Let's do that. So our pivot was 11. I totally did not do it. All right. Looks like I went backwards on this whole thing. Oh. All right. All right. Yay. All right. So let's go to the debuggers. Let's go ahead and run this sucker. Let's see. So some breakpoints. Let's see right here. Right here. There. All right, let's run it. Wait, I don't need that. All right. Let's attach. Where are you at? Quicksort. QR. There. Oh. All right. Let's do it. So, we're in the Quicksort algorithm. We print these out. And we pass in 0 and 9. Right here. Right, minus left equals 2. It does not. So we go here. Now we're going into position or partition 0, 9. Let's go to that. So pivot. equals 11. Left plus plus. Okie doke, 3. It should skip over that. All right, so 3 and 17. So those should not swap. So left number's greater, no. Left number's less than pivot, yes. Greater than pivot, yes. So they're both stuck. Advance both. Okay. Here. Still less than right. So now we have 7 and 28. Okay, we're in the same situation now. Advance, advance. Now we're at 3 and 7. So 22 and 6. So this, they'll swap. So we go in here. That's 22. Oh, shoot. So 22 and 6 swapped. So now we just got to get that 9 over, which should be on the next run. It's there. So now we have left numbers 100, right is 9. So these should swap too. There we go. There. Left is right. So everything's been partitioned correctly. So now they're equal. So now we stop that. And now we go into this. So we're going to send a 5 and 5 to place the partition. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're right here. Let's go into that. Pivot nums is 11. Equals right. Yes, it does. If 11 is greater than nums left. It's not. It's not greater than 43. Pivot is less than 43, or pivot equals 43. So it should do that. So num0 equals nums left minus 1. So right here. So it's going to swap 11 with 9. There. And then we return right, which should be index 43. So that when we pass in, when we do our other partition, we're already on the number that we need, so there shouldn't be any like minus ones or anything like that. So return right, we go back to, now our pivot is 5. Now we sort from left to pivot minus 1, which that should be right. But then pivot plus 1 is wrong. This should actually be, because we're starting from that. Whoops. So that should be there. Where's my keys at? Dang it. There you go. So I'm thinking that's the right way. All right. So, all right, what am I doing? Right there, I need to build again. Oh, that. Let's run that one. Attach. Quicksort. And then let's go ahead and start it right at this point. Well, you know what? Let's go through the left. Just to make sure that's all going right. Okay, so that should be correct in there. Oh, look at that. Zero there. Oh, wait, we're not in yet. We're on the brace. Whenever you see these weird numbers there, you're usually on a brace, and you haven't gone in there yet. So there we go. 0 memo, no. Blah blah, no. And so then pivot equals partition 0, 4. Let's go into that. So pivot equals 9, yes. Plus plus, and 1 and 3, yes. 11, pivot is 9, that should not do anything. So 7, right number 6, so the right should stay on the 6. Okay, so seven is greater than pivot. No, it's less than pivot. Let's go here. Left num is less than pivot and right num. No. Pivot there. So now 3 and 3. And right should have stayed the same. Okay. Nine there. Right, yes. Pivot is 9, num's left is 6. we swap that out. So the pivot return is 3. Okay, this is that part where no, because we're in recursion. It should just go back as it unwinds. It should we should get the right ones. I shouldn't have to save this stuff. Because now we do the right side, but we're on the left side here. I think inside the recursion. But it does equal 2. Yes, so num's left. Oh, num's left, num's right. They don't need to be swapped. Or yeah, they do. No, they don't. Does not, so pivot left and right. 0 and 2. Okay, at this point, this is a problem. Because when we're down to 0 and 2, 0, 1, 2, we're right there. Pivot is 6. So left and right. Right is greater, left is less than. So it should stay like that. There shouldn't be any kind of swap there. 3. So we got nums left 3, nums right 7. Yeah, 3 and 7. So those are in place. So pivot nums right. Okay, both stuck. Okay, so now they're equal again. Oh, no, they're not. It's greater than. Which should still trigger it. Right is 1, left is there. Left does not equal right. Left is greater than right. So if pivot is 6, it's greater than num's right, which is 3. Yes, it is. So now we're going to switch right there. So those are correctly done. Now we return right. What am I doing? Come on. Then we go back. So now pivot is there. Left and pivot minus 1 would be 0. So 0 and 0. Less than 2. It should just return. Now we do the right side. Pivot is 1, right is 2. And this should be the same thing, just return. There. 5 and 9. So our pivot now is 43. Right. Right, it was 17. So those do need to be swapped. So that swaps. Twenty-two and 28. So the right needs to be swapped, but not the left. Alright, so pivot is nums 0. That's definitely wrong. Should be nums left. That is not gonna work. Uh, Alright, so how does that affect the previous? Alright, let's stop it. So that's why this ends up over here. I was wondering about that. Oh, come on. Where are you? Dang it. Pressing buttons in the dark. Alright, left. Oh my gosh, where is the keys? Oh. Alright. Try that. There. Down. So we got that. Trigger it. That 22 is still there. So we got a problem in the right one still. Ow, shoot. All right. -1. All right. All right, let's do our. Ow. Whoops. I'm not in Visual Studio. All right, let's put it there. So we got 3 and 4. Step over that one. 5 and 9. I think we need to go into that. I'm not sure. 5 and 9. All right. This is where we were. So now our pivot shouldn't have been 6 anyway. It's 28. Okay. So it should swap the 43 with 28. Wait a minute. Why do we have doubles? What's going on? Was it that? The partition? That's what happened. Because the left ends up on the 43 instead of the 6. Alright, I gotta think about this. Oh, man. Oh. Alright, I gotta plug in my laptop. Good grief. Oh. See if I can reach it down here. I gotta plug in the inverter. Alright, that's plugged in. Alright, so how do I solve that? Because that messed up the whole partitioning scheme. So that's 0 there. Dang. All I'm thinking about is ways to duct tape this thing up now and send a flag in. Oh my gosh. Because the whole left side, Oh my gosh, what would it be, man? All right, where is our numbers? Okay, so when we first start out, we send in 0 and n minus 1. So 11, 17. So that's left, that's right. This becomes pivot. We advance left to here. So when we go to partition, we should pass our pivot in. That's what I'm thinking. So when we have a this right here, because when we partition, we know the pivot. That's set to left. So that's what we need to do. Let's see how that goes. Let's pass pivot in. Where is my keys? Oh, come on. Ah, God dang it. Come on. I can't see anything. As I get older, my fingertips are kind of a little numb too. So sometimes I can't feel. Okay, so this, we don't need this anymore. Pivot in there, pivot blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Okay, return 0. And petition left there. Return. Okay. See how that one works. There. There, we still have that same issue. All right. All right, that's it for this one. Thanks for coming along. I'm going to think about this some more. I'm not going to work on it offline, but I will think in my head about it probably. I don't want you to sit here staring at this while I'm thinking about it in my head. I do not have a camera into my brain. So, hey, thanks for coming along. Uh, like, share, subscribe, please. If you like this kind of stuff, you watch me, like watching me do this, then please like it and subscribe. All right, guys, I will see you next time. If you're in this big storm area, be careful. Uh, Walmart opens in about 30 minutes, depending on your time zone. Well, I guess it equals out wherever you're at. It would be, well, no, because if you're later than me, then it's already open. But might want to take advantage of it. Last couple of days, it's been nightmare in Walmart. So, okay, prepare, be safe, and I will see you next time.